The thing about the Home and Auto Bundle from Progressive is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about the Home and Auto Bundle from Progressive. We don't even need the words the Home and Auto Bundle anymore to tell you that you could save big with the ring-tailed lemur from Progressive, or that every hot peach cobbler comes with round-the-clock service and protection. And that's the thing about the goat with magic powers. You've heard a lot of ads about the sushi in Vancouver. See how much you could save with the Home and Auto with the Shaman in the Jungle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
It's race week! Woohoo! Kunal, oh my god, there's just so much to talk about and I'm so excited.
Yes, there's always just so much to talk about on the Inside Line F1 podcast.
But no, this is race week. So it's different because we've all been waiting for this week for so goddamn long.
But for me, it was actually race day just a few days ago. We had like the Formula E Prix and the MotoGP Grand Prix in Qatar.
But it feels like the 2018 Formula 1 season ended like months and months and months ago.
It's honestly time for Formula 1 to consider a 25 Grand Prix calendar.
Or 30 or 35
Yeah,
or 40 races.
Actually, just keep racing every fortnight, guys. Like, don't take a break. Just keep rotating the drivers and the team personnel, because that's what we always are worried about, the human cost of Formula 1. But there's also just so many drivers who are waiting for a break in Formula 1. Just use them and race all year long.
I so agree. And with this problem of plenty, here's what I propose. Kunal, I say we record a second pre-Australia episode on Friday, right after the free practice sessions are over. What say? You in?
Sure, let's do that. But first, you have to admit that you are just finding excuses to spend more time with me.
Of course I am, Kunal. That is only till I get hold of a certain Mr. Raikkonen. So guys, in this week's episode of the Inside Line Formula 1 podcast, we have just so much to discuss. So we thank Ferrari and Mercedes for not participating in the Netflix series.
Will Netflix do for Formula 1 what Rush did back in the days for the sport?
Is Bernie Ecclestone actually fiddling with the extension of Formula 1 contracts?
And we have a quick recap of the Hong Kong E-Prix from our young Australian motorsport fan and reporter, Ashley Blutman.
Awesome. Guys, remember to subscribe to us. We're available actually on all platforms. We're everywhere. And guys, we promise you your weekly dose of Formula 1 humor.
Yes, and we are actually reaching 500,000 listens right before the start of the 2019 Formula 1 season. So thank you very much for all your support. And for those of you who, actually listen to us on iTunes and the Apple Podcast Store, you will be pleasantly surprised to know that there are 2 Formula 1 podcasts that have been featured. One is the official Formula 1 podcast, and second is the Inside Line Formula 1 podcast. So congratulations.
Woohoo! That calls for a woohoo.
Yes. So I'm going to start this episode by talking about the season launch event that happened earlier today. It was actually good to see Lewis Hamilton join all the other mere mortals.
It was. And Kunal, what I am surprised about was Mark Webber's selfie. I mean, he actually used a selfie stick. And I mean, this is Formula 1. Everything's got to be super high-tech and all of that. I was expecting to see like a drone fly by or something, stabilize and then click the photo. But no, we have a selfie stick.
Yes, sometimes the traditional ways are the best.
Yeah, and Kunal, where were the Finnish drivers? Bottas and Raikkonen were both absent from this selfie stick picture that Webber was clicking and then tweeted.
Okay, I am now waiting for a Finnish joke from you, or a Finn joke from you, since that's what everyone's been cracking.
No. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to bet that they were like at the bar or something. Or maybe Bottas and Raikkonen were both playing with Bottas's Dalmatian puppies.
Now, I wonder if Lewis Hamilton's love for dogs actually prompted Bottas to love dogs too, or at least prompted him to proclaim his love for dogs on social media.
Okay, wait, I have a joke. What's common between Bottas's Mercedes record and Bottas's Dalmatian puppies?
They have no points? No.
They're both spotty.
Oh, yes, this is why we have Mithila Mehta on the Inside Line F1
Guys, that was
podcast.
impromptu. Give me some laughs just for, spontaneous jokes and all that.
Okay, so back to the launch event. I'm going to talk about how it's a good start from Formula One. It's good to see them make concentrated marketing efforts. And I've always spoken of, how this one massive event should be organized to launch cars, announce drivers, and, basically enter into the new season. So this is definitely a step forward in my view.
And I'll tell you what else is a massive leap forward, the Netflix documentary. I think it's really, really well made. And Kunal, I think that this documentary is just going to create so much intrigue among new fans. And I really hope that they tune in and sample Formula One this weekend.
Yes, the only concern, although from this weekend, are the odd hours that the Australian Grand Prix would be aired at, especially in Europe and in America. But the key question is, who has actually spent all this money in producing the Netflix documentary? The program credits reads Sean Bratches as the executive producer. So basically, the documentary is an expensive marketing exercise by Formula One. And in which case, I can't wait to see what their crossover metrics would be. Basically, how many Netflix subscribers saw Formula One for the first time.
And well, Kunal, I actually also knew a few Formula One fans, and they bought the Netflix subscription only to watch this documentary. So there's also some sort of reverse marketing impact for Netflix. They should thank us.
Yes, I mean, Formula One's a great brand to be associated with.
It is. And I am also secretly pleased that Ferrari and Mercedes refused to participate in the documentary, because fans now just have so much more insight into the other teams.
That is so true. I mean, every time we report from the paddock and from the races, this is a repeat realization that we keep having, that Formula One is just so much more than Ferrari and Mercedes. It is just so much more than Lewis Hamilton and his battle with Sebastian Vettel. I mean, the midfield teams have their own heroes and their own heroic stories, and in the heat of the title battle, most fans end up missing out on such stories.
Yeah, I know there isn't one star in this documentary, but if I had to choose one, it would be Gunther Steiner. Kunal, what a dude. He's an absolute rock star on the show.
Now that is a good choice, actually, because he's just shown to be so much more sincere and, all himself and down to earth. And it's good to see Haas doing well under his stewardship. But my mind now goes back to the movie Rush and the impact that it had on the non-Formula One audiences. I mean, I had a lot of non-Formula One friends and fans talk to me about the sport and just show so much more interest. Of course, back then it was about knowing who Niki Lauda and James Hunt were. But I believe that this Netflix documentary is in a similar space, if not better.
Yeah, I wonder if there will be a season 2 and if that would be this season. Because I hope that this time around Ferrari and Mercedes do participate. I mean, I know I don't miss them in the current show, but I think the picture will only be complete if we get access and content from all teams.
That's true. And, if they are going to do a show on the 2019 Formula One season, I would definitely want to know how Sebastian Vettel deals with the Charles Leclerc challenge, especially behind all those, doors in the briefing rooms, etc. And of course, how Toto Wolff will eventually go about deciding to drop Valtteri Bottas and promote Esteban Ocon.
Oh, scandalous thoughts, Kunal.
But, that's probably what's going to happen. So,
yes, let's see. On to the next thought. A point for the fastest lap of the race, but only for drivers in the top 10.
Honestly, I really wish it was available for everyone and not just the drivers in the top 10. But I realize why Formula One is doing this, to encourage more risks and different strategy from the teams, especially towards the end of the races, which we know can get boring because of this whole tire management that we've seen, excessive tire management that we've seen in the last few seasons.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans are kind of upset at this introduction, but I think that a few specific media vehicles have led to some negativity regarding this. But let's see it this way, that there are 21 extra points up for grabs. And Kunal, that's a lot of points. And that could impact the World Championship outcome. We know that there have been several World Championships that have been won or lost by lesser margins.
Absolutely. And 21 points is like nearly a race win. Of course, it's distributed over the season. And, I really wonder how come fans are already disliking this ruling without knowing how it's going to play out on track.
Okay, so next, Liberty Media is accusing Bernie Ecclestone of sabotaging the renewal of their race hosting contracts with several venues. Why am I not surprised, actually?
Yes, this is Mr. Bernie Ecclestone, and he is known to be cheeky. So, what are the actual chances of him doing something like what he's being accused of? I mean, I guess the answer is an easy one, but well, Liberty Media claimed that Bernie Ecclestone did well to sign up these race hosting venues at higher fees, and then of course we know that he handed over the reins of the sport to Liberty Media.
Yeah, correction, Kunal. Liberty Media threw him out, literally.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking Bernie Ecclestone would be a very good episode in the Netflix documentary next year.
Although he wouldn't believe in live streaming or streaming off it on the internet, he would say he would want it to be on television, maybe
Maybe he'd
TV
have his own breakaway F1 documentary on Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Anyway, so let's go back to this whole Liberty Media Bernie Ecclestone episode, because we all know that Ecclestone was asked to step down, and then Liberty Media claimed that he went and told these very organizers who he had signed at a higher cost or a higher rate that they were overpaying Formula One. So
yeah, and
cheeky.
very cheeky, and like Chase Carey said, that Liberty Media, being a public company, means that the race hosting fees that everyone is paying are public too. But in 2019, contracts worth $130 million, big number, are up for discussions. So that's with Great Britain, Spain, Italy, Mexico, and Germany. And also there are talks of a race in Africa. Wow.
Knowing Formula One, soon we're going to have talks of a race on the moon, and then in 2 decades' time in Mars, because suddenly everyone is interested in hosting a Formula One race, but nobody's actually coming and signing on the dotted line. That's my view. But this is Liberty Media's third full season as the new owners of the sport. And frankly, I think we should just drop the label new, because it's their third full season. And I'm eager to see how they tackle this situation at hand. And Chase Carey has already said that 5 expiring contracts are not a worry for Formula One. And Chase Carey has also said that he doesn't believe that Formula One races are too long, and that he wouldn't resort to cheap gimmicks to make the races fun.
Oh, by that I really hope he means that Formula One will get rid of the DRS soon enough. Guys, I am sure all of you know that in 2019, the DRS is 25% more powerful. Kunal, I really hope that it doesn't make overtaking a walk in the park next season.
Yes, I would love to see a Ricciardo and a Verstappen masterclass rather than just people DRSing their way through. But I have a view on the length of the races. I mean, I see Formula E and MotoGP, and they are definitely shorter in duration. And I don't think that they're any less fun, or in fact, let me put it this way, they're definitely more fun than Formula One. So Liberty Media, please choose quality of racing over quantity. I mean, the very old marketing mantra, as we've learned along the way.
Yeah, but that's unless they can guarantee 2 hours of madness. I don't mind a longer race.
That's
then.
human greed.
Very greedy for Formula One. Okay, Ferrari have a new livery. So no mission win now, as we already know.
Yes, former Ferrari team boss Stefano Domenicali said that the time is not right for Volkswagen to be in Formula One. And I mean, I know that Volkswagen has other issues to deal with, but I hope that someone from Formula One is actually sitting with all these manufacturers, who are on the fence, to understand what it could take to change their stance on participation. And the irony is, while Domenicali thinks that the time is not right for Volkswagen to enter Formula One, he has now signed up to be a television personality for one of the official broadcasters. So you're going to hear from Domenicali pretty often, because the time is right for him to be a television pundit.
Valtteri Bottas said that he is going to beat everyone. Kunal, honestly, I just love the sound of that.
Yes, and I really wish that Bottas is able to beat everyone and resurrect his career and image, because we are cheering for Bottas on the Inside Line F1 podcast. And my mind just goes back to when Mika Häkkinen was on our show. Bottas's fellow Finn. And firstly, he said that Bottas is driving a car which is suitably designed for Lewis Hamilton, and we all know that's a very strong possibility. But Mika Häkkinen also said that Red Bull Racing are going to find it tough to win with Honda. Now, let's really hope that the other midfield teams are more ambitious and they chase down Red Bull Racing Honda to a breaking point.
Very interesting. Hackinen's former teammate David Coulthard, so he's also said some interesting things. He fired literally a warning to Lewis Hamilton. Coulthard said that the Vettel-Leclerc partnership will be far more lethal than the Vettel-Raikkonen partnership from the last several seasons.
And that is true.
It's true. And I'm also wondering what role Leclerc will play in the World Championship. Will he be aiming for the World Championship himself, start with a bang? Or will he play the strong number 2 support to Vettel? Kunal, all of this waits to be seen in the next few days.
I'm also eager to see Pierre Gasly prove a point, because every time I hear Red Bull Racing make a negative statement about Gasly, I feel bad for him, but I'm also sort of glad that Daniel Ricciardo moved on. And even before the season has started, Helmut Marko has piled onto Gasly for his crashes and testing. I mean, he shouldn't have crashed twice, agreed. But the good part, at least, is that he is trying hard, and Marko should definitely be a little more patient. And Pierre Gasly has found support in Jacques Villeneuve, of all the people in the paddock.
Yeah, honestly, Kunal, I wonder if Red Bull Racing just decides to demote Gasly. Who next in Red Bull Racing? I mean, will they just go and promote Danny Kvyat again?
Well, Kvyat actually hasn't ruled out a promotion to Red Bull Racing if he happens to do well or manages to do well in Toro Rosso. But that would actually be life coming a full circle for Danny Kvyat. Unless, of course, Red Bull Racing decide to break their own rules and then go buy a driver from outside their stables. I mean, Fernando, we know you're listening, but please just wait before you send a text to Christian Horner.
So Daniel Ricciardo said that drivers will make all the difference in the tight midfield. And Kunal, personally, I can't wait to see who actually wins the Formula 1.5 championship, as we like to call it.
I'm cheering for Nico Hülkenberg.
Woohoo.
It would be I think his second Formula 1.5 victory if he wins this season as well. But Ross Brawn said that Ferrari recognized the need for financial equality in Formula 1. Now, that's a typical way of putting pressure on Ferrari via the media, because I highly doubt Ferrari will budge too much on their payments. And again, 2019 has lots in store for the future of Formula 1's business, because by June 2019, they have to all sign off on the sporting, commercial, and the technical regulations for the 2021 Formula 1 season.
Okay, and finally, Sebastian Vettel has named his 2019 Ferrari. He calls her Lena or Lean Lena.
Vettel's car names indicate that he has actually grown up, because during his younger days, his car names were more like teenage-like. He had Kinky Kylie, he had Luscious Liz and the likes. And I remember last year his car's name was Gina, if my memory is right. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where we move on from Formula 1 to Formula E. Our famous Formula 1 fan and reporter from Australia, Ashley Blutman, has sent us her views on the Hong Kong E-Prix that concluded a few days ago. And I must say that the E-Prix was an absolute riot.
It was, right? And Stoffel Vandoorne claimed pole. I was so happy to see him show some serious pace.
Yes, but I don't know why I call it the E-Prix when it's actually also a race. But maybe that's just Formula 1 branding for me. But we leave it now to Ashley to give us a view on how much fun the Hong Kong E-Prix was. I do know that her father, Jeff, visited the Hong Kong E-Prix. So here's over to you, Ashley. Thanks.
It's Ashley and I'm back, but this time I'm not talking Formula 1. I'm talking about Formula E. I enjoy watching Formula E as well because the car has a very different style and has completely different engines and are electronic. The Generation 2 cars are futuristic and interesting to look at. Generation 2 also has increased battery storage, which is better. It really interests me that previously the drivers completely changed cars as they pit stop, but now with the Gen 2 cars, they don't have to anymore. The thing I dislike though is how short the race is. It can't be helped at the moment because there is not enough battery for a race as long as the Formula 1 Grand Prix, unless they reintroduce changing cars again. Personally, I see that the Gen 2 cars look faster than the Gen 1 and the car looks more interesting. Both sports have connections like prior Formula 1 drivers. It's great to be able to follow them in their next phase. It's great that Susie Wolff has a team in Formula E and Toto Wolff has a team in Formula 1. That's why my favourite team is the Venturi team, because Susie Wolff is team principal and Felipe Massa is driving. He used to be one of my favourite drivers in Formula 1 and used to drive with Fernando Alonso. It's interesting to see the difference in Formula 1 team mistakes and Formula E team mistakes. Like in the Mexican Grand Prix a few weeks ago, the team underestimated the power they needed for the race, and Pascal Wehrlein, a previous Formula 1 driver, didn't win because of that tiny mistake, although he was coming first the whole race. Although I'm really interested in the electronic car, I still think I prefer Formula 1 because I definitely know more about it, and I like that I know all the drivers and teams in Formula 1. During the recent Hong Kong Grand Prix, Lotterer got damage on the last lap of the race, causing him to lose. I couldn't believe it because he was leading the whole race. Overall, I really enjoyed the race and thought it was very interesting that the track was quite skinny. It made it really hard for the cars, so nearly half of the cars retired from the race. Although the grid didn't change that much, it was really exciting to see the cars fight and protect their positions without crashing. In Formula E, it seems harder to turn, especially if it's a sharp turn, because they sometimes got caught and bumped into the car in front. It looked a bit like dodgem cars. I really enjoyed the Formula E Grand Prix in Hong Kong. However, I can't wait for the Melbourne Formula 1 Grand Prix. See you there.
Thank you so much, Ashley. It's just so nice to see your interest for motorsports and not just for Formula 1.
Yes. Do you watch MotoGP by any chance? Or the WEC or anyway?
Yeah, guys, Ashley's going to be at the Formula 1 Grand Prix this weekend. So, Ashley, please do enjoy yourself and let us know how you like it, what your experience is there.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us from this episode. We will be back in 2 days where we will talk about every team and driver's prospects from the Australian Grand Prix and for the entire 2019 Formula 1 season.
Yes, and we will have the legendary Lucian back on our show with his Moments in Time section. So guys, there's a lot for you to look forward to on this weekend, on track and on air with us here on the Inside Line Formula 1 podcast.
See you in a few days, guys. Adios.
"15 minutes could save you 15% or more."
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, 'cause they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.